We are providing NCERT videos and general studies complete videos. Please subscribe to our complete package. 1. Nepal links transit treaty with China to have first rail link. GS Paper 2, India and its neighbors. Why recently in news? China agreed to build a strategic railway link between the two countries, China-Nepal, through Tibet. Once built, it will reduce landlocked countries' total dependence on India. Trade diversification, cross-border connectivity and infrastructure development, cooperation on energy, tourism, finance, education and culture were among the matters that figured prominently during the talks. Why Nepal wants more supply routes from China? Nepal seeks to open more supply routes from China amid fears of a repeated blockade of Nepal's trade routes with India. Recently, Indian origin MADSIS blocked Nepal's trade routes with India for 6 months. This throws normal life out of gear. About China-Nepal rail link. China is planning to build a 540 km strategic high-speed rail link between Tibet and Nepal passing through the tunnel under Mount Everest. The project is being undertaken at Nepal's request and China has begun preparatory work for it. It will be an extension of the 1,956 km Qinghai-Tibet line that links the rest of China with the Tibetan capital Lhasa and beyond. The line will probably have to go through Kamalangma, the Tibetan name for Mount Everest, so that workers may have to dig some very long tunnel. What are the implications to India as the China and Nepal connect each other through rail link? The idea was to find a short route to Nepal for accessing the vast Indian market. Besides, China might be trying to involve Nepal for its Bangladesh-China-India-Myanmar (BCIM) project because New Delhi has shown little enthusiasm for this corridor. If China and Nepal connect each other, India's trade relations with Nepal will be well affected. Thus these are alarm bells for India. 2. India's Agastya Mala, among 20 UNESCO World Biosphere Reserves. GS Paper 3, Conservation of Ecosystem, Biosphere Reserves. Why recently in news? India's unique Agastya Mala Biosphere Reserve in the Western Ghats is among 20 new sites added by the United Nations top cultural body UNESCO to its world network of biosphere reserves. Now the total number of biosphere reserves increases to 669 sites in 120 countries, including 16 transboundary sites. The newly adopted sites include 18 national sites and 1 transboundary site shared between Spain and Portugal. Salient features of Agastya Mala Biosphere Reserve. It is home to 2,254 species of higher plants. Located in the Western Ghats, in the south of India, the Agastya Mala Biosphere Reserve includes peaks reaching 1,868 meters above sea level. Consisting mostly of tropical forests, the site is home to 2,254 species of higher plants including about 400 that are endemic. It is also a unique genetic reservoir of cultivated plants especially cardamom, jamun, nutmeg, pepper and plantain. 3 wildlife sanctuaries, Shindrani, Pepara, Naya and Kalakadmundan tiger reserves, are included in the site. Some key points to be noted. The Agastya Mala Biosphere Reserve, ABR, was established in 2001 and is spread across the 2 states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. There are 18 biosphere reserves in India, out of which only 9, including the Nilgiris, Nanda Devi, Nokrek, Gulf of Mannar, Sundarban, and Great Nicobar, had been included in the network of UNESCO. A number of tribal settlements with a total population of 3,000 are located in the Agastya Mala Biosphere Reserve. They largely rely on biological resources for their sustenance, and recent projects have been set up successfully to reduce their dependence on the forests. What is a biosphere reserve? Biosphere reserves are areas of terrestrial and coastal ecosystems promoting solutions to reconcile the conservation of biodiversity with its sustainable use. They are internationally recognized, nominated by national governments, and remain under sovereign jurisdiction of the states where they are located. Biosphere reserves serve in some ways as living laboratories for testing out and demonstrating integrated management of land, water, and biodiversity. What are the functions of biosphere reserves? 1. Conservation function: to contribute to the conservation of landscapes, ecosystems, species, and genetic variation. 2. Development function: to foster economic and human development which is socio-culturally and ecologically sustainable. 3. Logistic function: to provide support for research, monitoring, education, and information exchange related to local, national, and global issues of conservation and development. What are the biosphere reserve zones? Biosphere reserves are organized into 3 interrelated zones: the core area, the buffer zone, the transition area. Only the core area requires legal protection and hence can correspond to an existing protected area such as a nature reserve or a national park. This zonation scheme is applied in many different ways in the real world to accommodate geographical conditions, socio-cultural settings, available legal protection measures, and local constraints. What are the benefits of biosphere reserves? The biosphere reserve concept can be used as a framework to guide and reinforce projects to enhance people's livelihoods and ensure environmental sustainability. UNESCO's recognition can serve to highlight and reward such individual efforts. The designation of a site as a biosphere reserve can raise awareness among local people, citizens, and government authorities on environmental and development issues. At the national level, biosphere reserves can serve as pilot sites or learning places to explore and demonstrate approaches to conservation and sustainable development, providing lessons which can be applied elsewhere.